Well, hello, folks. We're live. We got
Boom.
on a little bit late because we got on a little bit late, and Tommy had the nerve to say, I'm already exhausting myself out." Well, you're right. You're right, Tommy. I want to give you a fair chance at this. So if I come in prime mode, I just don't know how well you'll do, and I do have some degree of consciousness or conscience. It's too early in the morning to think
That's
clearly.
a good point. Yeah. One or the other. Pick one.
Fair enough. I got that. So again, for those who sign in a little bit early, what you will observe is that we do some what I call background work, and we do that deliberately. This is new to me, certainly. Tommy being the public speaker may be less new for him, but certainly the Zoom format, the podcast format, the virtual format is relatively new, I think, for each of us as aggressively as we're attacking this. And we're doing this deliberately, our background work to share with you, because people really do believe, as I have still believed, you have to be born confident to be an effective public speaker. And yes, he says that's not the case. He can make it happen for you. So I'm not buying it still. So we are now on our 9th sparring session. I think this is going to a heavyweight fight. It's going to go multi rounds. I've learned that Tommy has a lot of stamina to beat him down. So it's going to take some effort to make it happen.
Nice. Notice I sat up in my chair.
He's ready for me. Sometimes I'll catch him pacing back and forth. If you ever watch The Ring, a big fight, and he's in his corner tap dancing, keeping warmed up, ready to go on this. So it should be interesting. One of the things you say, Tommy, is that you want to be comfortable, to become comfortable, to be an effective public speaker. Now, when I think of becoming comfortable, you make it sound like you just have to do it. To me, becoming comfortable is on a Saturday evening, having my can of beer, my popcorn, my favorite couch. I'm turning on my Netflix, and I'm going to do a binge of movies all day long. I'm not being very proactive, I'm being very passive, very laid back. I don't see how that style gets me into being comfortable as a public speaker. So could you share your concept with me on that?
Well, if you keep it up, you're going to have to get comfortable talking to your doctor.
Whoa. Okay. Stop stalling. See, the guy's already trying to do a rope-a-dope again. He's trying to buy some time, folks. Don't get sucked in his strategy.
No. Keep that popcorn and beer up, buddy. I'll need a replacement soon. So you know what the phrase is? I'm going to stick with this. There's things I believe in, and certainly public speaking. Let's just leave it on the outside. But everything in our world, everything in our lives, is mindset. As you had mentioned, you and I came on here, and I can remember it's 9 weeks now, and good for us. Because 9 weeks ago, we looked at each other and said, if not now, when? And we just did it. We just did it. We both had no idea where it was going, how it was going to go.
Excuse me, audience. He still have no idea about this, but don't tell him. But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting, Tommy. Go ahead.
But the phrase I like to use about public speaking is, and it applies to everything. So it's the learning is in the doing. So you and I truly decided to just do this, and we learn as we go along. And you know what? Some people like myself takes a little longer, but that's okay. I'm starting to catch on. But when we talk about public speaking, you had mentioned something, and I'm a firm believer in the mindset behind public speaking. So let's talk about that. Let's not talk about the actual getting up and doing it, but let's talk about what holds you back from doing it. Or more importantly, if we leave public speaking out today and just understand it's a part of our life, it's a part of our business, but what holds us back from success and fulfillment is a great, great question. And if people would take a look and see what holds them back from what they feel would make them successful, and believe me when I tell you, fulfillment, we were just talking earlier about joy and enjoy and doing the things you enjoy. Sometimes you got to do the things you got to do when you got to do them. And sometimes it could be public speaking. You got to get up and do it, right? But I want you to think about this phrase here that I've always thought about. It's not that I'm so much comfortable with speaking and public speaking. You have to start to become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Okay.
Right? So think about that. Most challenges, when we're looking for a breakthrough, fear, doubt, uncertainty kicks into our head, holds us back because we feel uncomfortable. What we're doing doesn't resonate with our true being. So
Right.
what I'm trying to say is, to become better at public speaking, the first thing you need to do is become a better being, someone who fully understands that, I'm not going to die from this. It's not going to stop my heart. Your heart might race a bit. You might feel a little nervous, but you know what? Once you buy into that and you learn how to use the nerves to your advantage, every comic who's ever been on stage steps on stage, and in the back of their mind, there's that little kid thinking that they're going to fail, that the jokes aren't going to work. What's the audience going to think of me? Are they going to think I'm funny, right? And what's the first thing they have to do is they have to get those nerves out by getting their first joke out. Once they get the laughter, they can say, "Oh, okay."
Tommy, I got to interrupt. The first thing they got to do is get the first joke out. The first thing I got to do is vomit on the side of the stage.
Can we edit this because it's 8:05?
So how do you do stage fright? I mean, that's a good point. I get what you're saying, but to me, it's easier. Well, you got to get over it, I guess.
Yeah.
But man, is there a process that I kind of go through to work through this that need to vomit? And sorry for being blunt to the audience, but that's my first thought. So how do I get through my stage fright to get to where this confidence thing begins to kick in?
Well, you just asked a great question, and you said, "Do I have to get over it?" And the answer is no. Mm-hmm. But if it's not serving you, if you're not going out and doing what you need for your business, which in turn is to step up, let's face it, if you're in business, or even if you're looking for a raise or wherever it might be, and you don't step up and ask for it with confidence and competence and believing in who you are and believing in what you do. See, for me, public speaking is just a little form of that where, if you believe in yourself and believe in what you do, you're going to learn how to get that message to the world. Right. So through all public speaking is, for me, is my ability to get my purpose out to the world. So think about it. My purpose, I always looked at it as my whole life as a kid, is to make people laugh, to have some humor, to enjoy life together. That's my purpose. So I had to learn how to get that message out to the public. And I did it through being on stage, which in turn, I didn't start out as a public speaker. I just started out on stage.
I hear that. Well, let me ask that differently. Is there something like a mental mindset? Rephrase that. It just hit me the thought. When I watch the Olympics, and I watch the people who do the pole vaulting, you can see when the camera zeroes in on their face, right? They're doing the jump in their head. You can see them doing the steps and the lift and whatnot. So by the time they take that deep breath and then they go for it. So is there some techniques that people can, before they get to my stage of being up there to talk, or not up there, now it's through Zoom and it's time to do your 30-second soundbite or whatever it may be. Are there things that people prepare themselves with, one or two points that may be of value?
Well, to prepare yourself, I look at three things. I recently just wrote an ebook called Purpose, Vision, Goals.
Okay, well, thank you for the plug, Tommy, but go ahead.
But that being said, when you have a purpose, you were just mentioning about, the pole vaulter, right? They're there with a purpose. Their why is to be the greatest athlete in the world. If they're in the Olympics, they are the chosen few from all over the world. Right. So they're there with a purpose. They have a big enough why. So when you have that why, the purpose, and the vision, you were saying, they envision themselves doing it over and over and over. But their ultimate goal is what comes into play. So with public speaking, if you have a purpose and public speaking can enhance your purpose, right, and really make you into who you need to be so you can have the vision of what your life is. So all it comes down to is public speaking should be here to enhance you personally and enhance you professionally. Now, if you don't need it, and I mean that, if you don't need it, then don't worry about it. If it's something you want and it's in your heart, then start doing it. Now, how do you get better? You got to practice. I'll mention it. Toastmasters. Okay. The ideal place to go. You know what? Maybe we don't want to talk about it every week, but you were asking, how do you get better? Toastmasters is the ultimate place to go to get better. It's the only place to go, right? So with that being said, the idea is,
could you tell me more about, not that I want to know about Toastmasters, but does one do a Google search for that word, or how does one find that concept?
Well, one of the most helpful things I ever did in my career, I was on stage forever, even before I went to Toastmasters, because what it did was it fine-tuned, it honed, me as a speaker. So it's toastmasters.org. The main website will come up. Just like anything, you put your zip code in. There's a club near you within miles that you could get to. There's noon meetings, there's afternoon meetings, there's evening meetings. But the idea about Toastmasters and why I want to share this is you're presenting in front of a club. It's a speaker's club.
Okay.
And everybody in the club has already been where you are. So there's a lot of empathy for that person who steps up for the first time.
Okay.
So there's no like wondering what's going on. Everybody has been where you are. They feel your pain. So what do they want to do? Hey, I was there. I feel your pain. Here's how I got through the pain. And that's what we should do for people overall anyway. If you're good at something and somebody needs it, show them how you did it. I think that's one of the secrets to life, the secret to success.
Okay.
I always say people who are good at what they do and are successful, they're always willing to share how they got there. So reach out to someone. If you need to get better at public speaking, reach out to somebody, ask them some questions. They have the tips to change your world.
Well, you make a good point on that. Geez, excuse me. I hate it when I agree with them, folks. But I have these lapses every now and then. Oh, please. But I hope you use deodorant this time around.
Probably not. It's early. This isn't smell-o-vision. Okay.
Fair enough. But what I have learned is people who really, really are involved in what they're doing have a deep passion for what they do.
Right.
And they want to share it. And part of the fun of having the passion is it wants to ooze out of them. So I can see where somebody, if they go to Toastmasters, you call it?
Toastmasters. Yep.
That through a Google search, that would be certainly a good start for people to at least begin to learn be around people who've gone through the whole process that you've talked about so far. That's good. So if I understand, I don't understand, but it's the issue of being comfortable, I get, is practice. I'm sure that's part of what you're saying. But again, when I'm back to the Olympian again, they do at some point, they do take a deep breath. You can, and then you see actually, you can almost see in their eyes, they begin to zone in. So for me, it seems to be more than the mechanical aspect of it. The eyes kind of go distant, the demeanor settles down, they take this deep breath and they go for it. So is there something maybe more subtle, that just one inkling, one clue that somebody might do before they start speaking in front of somebody else to help them zone in?
We talk about affirmations and living in the I am or the I can. So, going through affirmations every day, I am a tremendous speaker. I am going to make this jump, right? That person going through their head has seen themselves do it over and over and over again, right? What we conceive, right, and believe we can achieve. So that's a great way to look at it, what we conceive. But I want to say this to you. I was thinking about what holds us back. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, either way, you're correct. I think that was Henry Ford. And these little phrases have been in our lives for a long time. So what you really have to do is you have to become the person. You have to become the person who says, I can. If you continue to say, I can't, guess what? You can't.
I see.
Yeah. So same thing with public speaking. It's stepping up and saying, I can do this. I can get better at this. And really, you fake it till you make it. All these great phrases. In truth, if you think about it, if you want to become something, you fake it till you make it. Right now, we could call ourselves podcasters. My goodness, Joe, we're podcasters, right?
Yeah, right. Faking it pretty good at the moment, too.
9 weeks ago, we were a couple of schlubs.
Much more of a fake then. You're right about that.
Right. But, so now look at us. Look at us.
I'm trying not to.
I got a brick wall behind me. I made it. But you know what I'm saying? It's about going and stepping up. Step up. Have some courage, right? When we break through our fears, or what we call the terror barrier, where terror kicks in, and everybody has it. But as I say, that wall, the terror barrier that's between us and success, all the joy, all the fulfillment is on the other side of the wall. So if public speaking will allow you to get to the other side of the wall, then I suggest you use public speaking as much as possible. If it's going to get you where you want to go, then do it. Learn how to do it. It's a
Right.
learned skill. Learned skill. Nothing more, nothing less. If you're willing to sit down, be open-minded, and learn, you will get better at this. And everything you want is on the other side of the terror barrier. So that's why we have to break through the fear, doubt, and uncertainty, because the wall is the fear, doubt, and uncertainty, but everything we want is on the other side of the wall. So I'm suggesting this to you. In business, public speaking can be that one thing that gives you the courage to become better at a lot of different things. Oh my God, if I could do this. See how the mindset shifts? Man, if I could get up and speak in front of 50 people, I could do anything.
Okay.
So that's why I love public speaking, just because it gives you that, if I could do this, I could do anything.
I hear that. Well, thank you for taking us home on this, Tommy.
Nice.
Time, boy, it zips right by. Audience, thanks for being a part of this. Any comments you may have, feel free to share it. And we do follow up on this. So even if you're looking at this as a playback mode, it will come back to us. We'll follow up with you on that basis. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to end this. Folks, stay healthy, productive.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.